Hey everybody, this is So Many Sequels, your book club for movies. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I am David.
You are. That was a
Wow.
dramatic introduction.
Well, dramatic week.
Reason. I guess so. This is a little bit of a different episode because we're going to talk about, we're mostly going to talk about the Oscars, recapping that a little bit. But we're also going to talk about some news updates because, see this, David, for the viewers, or for the listeners who aren't viewing, David is trying to multitask and eat at the same time, which is, first of all, poor recording behavior. To eat.
Turn off your screen.
tried to
Mute
mute
yourself. We don't want to hear you
Tried to mute the
slapping.
screen. I tried to, but
Microphones hear all that. Anyway,
this is an emergency podcast, okay?
it's it's kind of in the middle. So
We're 2 days late.
We're 2 days. That's American healthcare, baby.
Hey, no one will know if they watch this a week after.
That's true. No, that's So we're not gonna, reveal awards to you because that would be stupid. We're just gonna talk about what we liked because we still have opinions on that, and then we'll talk about some news and just some things we've been watching. So just kind of a fun catch up episode here. So, but let's go ahead and just knock the Oscars out here right now. This was the first year for me that I cared way more about the host than the movies. Because I love Conan O'Brien. We talk about Conan almost once an episode. And it was also a year where, I didn't super care what movie won Best Picture. It's, I don't know about you guys, but there's usually one that I'm like, yeah, I want that. I really was like, you know what? There are several that I could have been fine with. So I felt more attached to watching Conan than anything else.
Right.
What about you guys? What did you guys think about Conan? What did you expect from him?
I felt like this was a very Billy Crystal-esque kind of a show. And I mean that in, I've listened to a lot of different things. And I'll be full disclosure, and we'll talk about it later, but I didn't watch all of it. I watched most of it. I was a little late, and then I gave up a little early. But
so did Hulu.
What I saw was...
We'll get to that.
Yeah. What I saw was really funny. And what I saw was quite enjoyable. But at the same time, it was kind of forgettable afterwards. And I think that's a good thing. There's always a lot of feedback of how to make the show better. But why? You're just honoring movies. You have a host. You make it a good time for that show. It doesn't have to be this everlasting memorable thing. It just needs to be a good time. And that is what they delivered. So I think this was a successful show for them.
They are all kind of forgettable almost to me. I was trying to remember last year's, and I kept remembering the 2023s. I kept thinking about last year and thinking about Everything Everywhere All at Once the whole time, completely forgetting large swaths of last year. I love Conan. One of my favorite things about the show this year was him being there. Like you said, Josh, I didn't really have a dog in any of these fights. To let the people in at home, I watched 8 of the 35 films nominated. So I had zero actual knowledge about what could possibly win, and yet I did, amongst the three of us, come in the highest in our Oscar pick'em. That won't come up again, I'm sure. But unfortunately, I didn't win. I came in third. Matt Hooper actually won our Oscar pick'em. He's a good friend of the podcast, more or less.
Yeah.
And our number one fan, I think. And then it's time for Conan's opening monologue. This was actually really fun. And I loved the sandworm playing the piano. That was just very classic Conan.
It was. That's what I liked about it. Is it felt like he just used all of his hosting bits to do an old episode of Late Night, which was fun to me. That's what I wanted. Crazy sandworm playing the harp and playing the piano and all that crap. And then his very Simpsons-esque, I thought, I Won't Waste Time song and dance number, which he didn't quite land perfectly, but I still thought it was fun and clever.
Mm-hmm. So that means that the highlight was probably him and Adam Sandler.
Yes.
I heard so many people go back and forth on that and say that some people didn't like it. I don't know what they were talking about or what they were watching, but I found it quite enjoyable. And then the same thing with the song. Both of those things I found really incredible. I missed out on some of the early stuff because I was there late. So the sandworm thing is really the first thing that I remember seeing. But I Won't Waste Time really stood out. And then, yeah, the Sandler bit was, I mean, just the way that Sandler says Conan is so funny in and of itself. And then everything that they just escalated to was great.
One of the big wins of the night early on was Flo. Big surprise, I think, winning a Best Animated Film. That was a big upset, I think, for well, there was a couple. There was a lot of people thought that Wild Robot was a big contender, and Inside Out 2 was a big contender. So Flo taking that was impressive.
Flow is a independent animated film, so I believe it's the first independent animated film to win this award. It's also the first film from Latvia, I believe, to win this award. And as Conan said, the ball's in your court, Estonia. So yeah, that was actually really, really cool.
One of the ones that I picked to actually win because I feel like I remember it winning in an upset at some point in time, and the other two just felt like, So that one was a bit surprise, and I haven't seen it. It's on Netflix now, if I'm not mistaken. Or Max.
It's somewhere.
It is available to watch, on streaming. I have to find out where again, but yes, it is available. It does mark. Josh and I responded to a thread about this earlier, but it does mean that it's been 4 years since Pixar has won Best Picture, or not, sorry, Best Picture, but Best Animated Feature. 3 years total for Disney because Encanto won in 2021, but that wasn't Pixar. Anyway, we have to get to, I think, the weirdest moment of the night, and I could talk a lot about this, but I don't want to. The Bond tribute was bizarre.
I don't know why that happened, other than, and this is my guess, the creative control being ceded to Amazon that we discussed previously on the show kind of made this the James Bond funeral.
They
yeah,
must
it
have
was
paid a bunch
definitely
of money.
strange. It doesn't make a lot of sense. No time frame for when the next Bond is coming out.
No.
Honestly, not a good performance.
It
It was not good.
It was not
Didn't
necessarily.
find it. Ray was great.
Yeah.
Outside of that,
It was not necessarily, and I like James Bond well enough, but it was not like an anniversary or something. There wasn't a new film coming out soon. It wasn't even like there was something significant other than the Broccoli family gave up creative control to signify why you do this. Now, a lot of people were speculating that they were going to announce who the new James Bond was going to be at the end of this performance because people were trying to figure out any reason why this was happening.
I got a big laugh out of this Cinema Streams sketch that happened.
Yeah.
I think that is probably what they need to do. Honestly, I think that's how movie theaters need to market it. Hey, you know what? We're not. You don't want to cook tonight? We got stuff for you. We can give you popcorn and take it the night. We give you some recliners and blankets and all that crap because that's the only thing that's going to get people to do it. Is if you make it to where it's like, oh, it's so convenient. Wow, we're unburdening you of something because I think that's one of the only ways you can get people to go to a movie theater.
And this was the way this sketch plays out. It was perfect for Conan. You could put other comedians. I don't want to just blow up Conan, but you could put other comedians in Conan's role in this, and it would be kind of funny. But Conan's just, I don't know. Conan's just weird charm that he has, just sold the whole thing. And then I loved his joke coming because they had Martin Scorsese was at the very end of it too. So it was very. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I want to jump ahead to basically what ends up being the theme of the night, which is Anora almost sweeping its nominations this year. Lost out on a couple, I believe, but maybe the biggest upset of the night was Mikey Madison taking home Best Actress over Demi Moore. And at that point, I think it was pretty much sealed that Anora would be Best Picture. I ended up picking this as a last minute thing. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you why, other than it had won a couple big awards here toward the end at like SAG, I think, and I don't know. Something felt right about it, but it felt more like luck that I picked it. What do you guys think about this? This was also Sean Baker is the first person to win 4 Oscars in one night
For one film,
with editing, director, film, and then what was the other that he got? I don't
best
remember.
picture,
But
best
4,
director, best editing, best best screenplay, maybe.
perhaps.
Yeah, I think it goes to show what it can be done when someone has a vision and they are able to execute from A to B to C to D to Z. You know, he took every aspect of this, and it was something that he wrote, he shot, he edited, and it ultimately came together to become what he wanted it. And I think that shows also the importance of the independent movies. I mean, again, we talk about how we didn't really have a dog in the fight because there wasn't like a huge blockbuster outside of Wicked that was nominated, really. Everything else seemed or felt like an indie-esque kind of movie, whether it was or not. And so I think it's really good that these movies got a chance to kind of be highlighted. And so I'm really excited for Anora. It's really the one that I really liked. As I didn't connect with it as much, but I think it's really good that this won.
Yeah, I mean, this continues my streak of 12 straight years having not seen the Best Picture winner before the Oscars. The last time I watched a Best Picture winner before the Academy, like I watched it before it won, was The Artist, like a long time ago. So,
Couple of final kind of controversial moments was Adrian Brody won Best Actor for his role in The Brutalist, and then proceeded to set the record for longest acceptance speech in Oscars history, which is a true fact. I think at like 5 minutes and 30 or 40 seconds, something like that. He set the record by an additional 10 seconds in a mostly rambling, kind of self-indulgent, just like odd thing. I don't know. I did not enjoy it. It took him way too long to get to what should have been the point, and by then I was annoyed with him.
I know. And I skipped through a lot of it because I was trying to catch back up to live. I had to take a break. So I was trying to get caught up. And so I'm just like skimming. I'm like, man, Adrian Brody's still talking. And I was bummed. I did not pick Adrian. I picked Tim Chalamet, and was kind of hoping for that. And I know he would have given a short but sweet speech.
He may have. I don't know. Timmy has been giving a lot of great speeches lately, so
Yeah, he would have been like, "Hey, I'm coming for greatness."
Would have been pretty good. So the last, literally controversial thing of the night was a lot of viewers were watching this on Hulu or Disney Plus because it was streaming for the first time, and I haven't yet to see if there was an explanation for this other than some sort of like, "Oops, we didn't extend the timer." The show ended early and abruptly right before Mikey Madison's announcement as Best Actress, which is like, it was literally the final couple awards of the show. And the stream, to my understanding, never came back. People were just kind of left without it. We were watching it on Hulu, but then just immediately flipped it to Antenna. And I gotta tell you guys, the Antenna quality was better. What are we doing?
Ooh.
What did you guys run into this issue, or were you watching it time delayed anyway?
Yeah. No, it kicked me right out, and I had no idea what was going on.
I had already given up at that point in time because I gave up it during Adrian's speech, but it wasn't because of Adrian. It was because I have a problem with the structure of the formatting of the show. They're trying to build suspense until the end, and the end of the show slams on brakes like nothing else because it is award, long commercial, award, long commercial, award, long commercial, award, long commercial. And that is the only time they do that. And those are the biggest awards. So stop it, because I'm exhausted by then. And that's why the show runs over. And I want to see the ending. So don't delay it like that. Like, put the two best actresses, boom, boom, commercial.
They do that with so many of the other ones.
Yes,
Like,
it doesn't have to be individual.
Back to back, you were gonna rush those people off mid speech. You know, best, shorts, rush them off. You know, like, but you're absolutely right. All the best actor, the big five, we're gonna drag out as long as we can.
Right, and you know what I would rather see? Sometimes, depending on what they say, would rather see people speak. Like, not necessarily the famous people, but the people who don't get the recognition, the people who it means something to, like the costume directors and stuff. Like, I appreciated the Big Five stuff that they did for that. But maybe I want to see the people speak more than I do, I don't know, somebody talk about BS, I don't know. But the way the show ends, it really, for me, just slows it way too down to where it's almost boring to watch. And a lot of people find it boring anyway.
But it is frustrating for this is a big jump to streaming, and this is a big ball drop for Hulu in this scenario where it just cuts off, and people were invested. There are people who they may not be excited anymore to the level that they were at the start of the show, but they want to know what's going to win Best Picture. They want to know what's going to win.
Yeah,
who's
a
gonna
lot of
win
people
Best
a lot of people treat it just like a football game and tune in at the end. Like this is common.
But
That's my
overall,
rant.
I did find this generally to be a more watchable than previous years. I'm glad we didn't do a recap right afterwards, but
Oh
know,
my gosh, yeah, I was so sleepy.
like we said, I hadn't seen a lot of these movies, so I was just kind of enjoying it for what it was for the most part.
Yeah, I agree. Garrett, you said at the beginning that it was kind of boring, and that was a good thing. I agree with you. I think that I just can't. I just can't take any more excitement these days on my TV. Yeah.
One more thing that I think I just want to say, because I want to say it every year until they start doing it. This is a missed opportunity for the movie theaters to drop big movie trailers.
You
Make
are
big announcements
correct.
like who the next Bond is, David, for that whole thing. Like, this is an opportunity to take advantage of, and they don't, and that's stupid.
I agree. The commercials, there aren't, like, I don't know. I don't think they're any different, are they? I feel like they should be, because I saw that it was still like 19 million viewers. That's not nobody, especially on broadcast these days.
That was more than last year.
Exactly. So, why aren't we putting good trailers on there, I don't know. It's a good point, and I'm glad you say it every year. All right, let's get into some, the one big piece of news that I just think is just, I'm kind of like taken aback by, is this, so we've talked about the Barney thing before. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off as Barney, guys.
Barney,
We've talked
big
about
purple
Daniel.
dinosaur.
We've talked about this Daniel Kaluuya Barney stuff that's been in the rumor sphere for a while, and now apparently the Bear star A24 is in talks to write and star in this Barney movie, produced by Daniel Kaluuya and A24 along with Mattel.
I have no words, yeah.
I, much to the chagrin of my parents, I have heard this countless times, I was Barney pilled as a toddler.
Oh.
As it were. I was very Barney
Really?
pilled.
Okay.
I was Barney obsessed. So it activates a weird toddler thing in my brain where I'm like, yeah, I'm intrigued by Barney. And also like dark A24 subversive stuff. What is this? Is Barney gonna be, I don't know, a ghost? A specter? A poltergeist?
I mean, I'm definitely intrigued by all the things and people that are attached to it. I was not a Barney kid growing up, but I have no issues with it. I think it could be entertaining because of the people involved. So
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I do remember having a strong Barney phase between probably the ages of like 1 and 4. I feel like I feel like I brought like a Barney toy to a show and tell or something, but it feels like such a forgotten piece of our pop culture is Barney the dinosaur.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, there's some big celebs who came from there. I know off the top of my head that Selena Gomez spent some time in Barney and Friends. So it's kind of like, I don't know, some celebs came out of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and things like that too. They also came out of Barney and Friends in the late 90s, early 2000s. So
Yeah.
But
PBS, man. PBS kids.
as of right now, I cannot wrap my head around whatever this Barney thing is going to be. But the thing is, I couldn't have predicted what that Barbie movie was going to be. And
True.
Mattel let them do whatever they wanted to with that to great success. So maybe they're going to do that here again.
Could be interesting. It's definitely on my radar. There's still no word on when it might begin. It was announced in November 2019, so been in the works for a hot minute. Okay, and then we'll wrap up this section with some of the sadder news lately. Lost a couple of really great actors. Gene Hackman passed recently in a really sad kind of.
Tragic.
They're still trying to figure out, as of we're recording this, kind of what happened. So I don't want to talk about that too much. But he and his wife and a pet were found dead in their home recently. He was 95, so long career. He was honored at the Oscars a little bit by Morgan Freeman. You guys have a favorite Gene Hackman movie, or do you have any? Or is this an actor you guys were tied to at all?
I love Gene Hackman movies.
Yes.
I really enjoyed Runaway Jury growing up was one that I really enjoyed. It's with him and John Cusack and Dustin Hoffman, I believe. And I can't remember who else, but it's got a really solid cast. I don't know how it holds up. It's been forever. But that, and then honestly, The Replacements with him and Keanu Reeves is such a great movie. And it seems like a weird dynamic, but those are two incredible actors. And so, honestly, I feel like I would watch anything with Gene Hackman because I do have a high regard and high respect for what he has done.
Honestly, just kind of looking at his filmography to remind myself, I have quite a few. I'm not going to name them all, but yeah, The Replacements. Obviously, I know I'm probably going to be alone in this particular podcast. I like him as Lex Luthor in the Superman movie. I like him in The Birdcage. Did you guys ever see The Birdcage?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
really
that's on
good
my
in
list
that.
to watch. Yeah.
He's really good in
Something to
that.
watch
And
soon.
then, stupidly, I kind of like the movie Heartbreakers. That's a really fun, bad movie. And he's in that with Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sigourney. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But Gene Hackman's great. And I really want to go back because we talked about it a little bit when we did our Oscar month last year, The French Connection, which was one of the first Academy Award-winning films he was in. So,
Yeah.
And he was also in Unforgiven, which was another Best Picture winner he was in.
Yeah. No. But then this is to me the really sad one. Michelle Trachtenberg died at 39 years old. Huge child star for kids who grew up in the 90s. She was on The Adventures of Pete and Pete, big Nickelodeon kid. Kenan Thompson called her the first Nickelodeon movie star as Harriet the Spy. Then she went on to do what was it? Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She did Gossip Girl. She did some movies. I don't know. I was surprised by this one. She'd kind of faded from my memory a little bit. I hadn't seen her in something recently, and going back and looking at all that she had done that I'd loved over the years, it sucks. She's great.
Yeah, she was definitely a person who was in, like, for people our age, we grew up watching her, if you will, because she was always on something that we were watching. I was a huge Nickelodeon kid, so Pete and Pete. Harriet the Spy was huge. I remember watching that in, like, summers with my sister when we would both be out from school and it would just be on. And so it had her and Rosie O'Donnell, and those two were so massive, in the 90s. After she passed, I went and watched Harriet the Spy, and it's enjoyable. It's a really fun kids movie or kid-focused movie, and so I really enjoyed that rewatch. And yeah, it's definitely a sad loss.
For sure. I'm going to have to send you. I saw on YouTube the other day a clip from the Rosie O'Donnell show with Michelle promoting Harriet the Spy. So it was just really fun to see them talk about that on the show. I liked it. It was fun. It was nice. Yeah. We'll end it on that happy memory. All right. Let's wrap up here, David, with our weekend in review. I think this is the worst weekend of the year.
So far, could always get worse. We'll see. And part of that is there wasn't really a big release this weekend. The only new movie in theaters this weekend was Last Breath. This is a film starring, I think, Woody Harrelson. Simu Liu. It's about divers.
It's a shame because I like Woody.
I like Simu Liu.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
got a good cast. It's one of those movies that's kind of like a horror, like risky danger thing. I don't know. It's not like a horror film, but it's like it's a thriller,
I have
right?
no idea.
It's just not getting. It just didn't get there's just not a ton of promotion behind this. So that's your only new movie this weekend. It opens to 7.8 million, the number 2 spot. Captain America: Brave New World is still number 1 with 14.8. The Monkey slides to number 3 with 6.4. Paddington in Peru, which our review for that movie is up right now, brought in 4.5 in its third weekend.
Go
And
see
then-
Paddington in Peru.
Please do, and then listen to our show.
And then animated smash Dogman, number 5, with $4.2 million in its 5th weekend. So that's your top 5 for the week. Overall, yes, the top 10 combines for the worst box office of the year so far, but long year to go. We'll see if this stands.
Not exactly fair when it's March, I guess. All right, that's gonna do it for us this week. I do want to. We'll tell you that our theme for March. I don't think we fully officially announced it. But we're gonna be doing. No, we did. I think we talked about we're gonna do
Yeah.
Oscar-nominated movies, but we didn't tell you that we're gonna start off with Goodfellas. So be sure to subscribe so you get that coming to your feed soon. YouTube, Spotify, both of those have video. Then you can get the podcast wherever you prefer to get podcasts. Go to SoManySequels.com and you can find those links and more. We will see you guys soon. Bye.